Hello everybody, thank you for watching my video. This time I'm going to present you a rather personal story about using interoperability to make my personal life a little bit easier, and therefore I have prepared also a story to explain you how and why I came to the point to use an interoperability project to solve a minor problem, something that I did by hand for a long time. And I've prepared a few slides to show you how I came to the place, and then we are going to take a look into the project that is available on Open Exchange. So stay tuned. So my story starts sometime around 1995 when banks started with internet banking, and in order to promote this they gave to their customers that were willing to participate MS Money for free and provided a feeder based on OFX. OFX at that time was an HTML format that tried to be a little bit more slim, a little bit lighter than XML. Well, over time this has changed, and meanwhile they are fully using XML, as I have seen. But the Microsoft Money program didn't change. They stayed with version 1. Which means you get a protocol that is really out of date. But it was quite comfortable at that time. You had one click to download, another click to feed it into MS Money, and you had all the service there. A minor command to MS Money at that time, it was running on Windows 95 with 32-bit processing, and was quite comfortable at that point. Once one bank had this, another bank also followed, and they did pretty much the same. You had to download your OFX feeder, you had to feed them into MS Money, and you could rather easy control your environment. So you were at the point having 2 downloads, 2 feeds. Not a big effort, and quite an interesting information at the time. As time went by, Microsoft decided to drop the support for local language MS Money, which created some trouble to the banks, and they decided to convert, to stop this service and just to provide CSV files. Well, some other formats probably too, but CSV was the most common one. So, and the work became more and more to download 2 feeds step, but you had to do an import, and as there was no other chance, I used at that time Cache to convert the CSV file into a local table and to transform it into an OFX format and feed this to MS Money. Not really comfortable. The other bank continued to provide OFX, but got in more and more troubles with keeping with the format up to date, especially as finally Microsoft dropped fully support for the local version and did not provide anything for 64-bit processing, no support on the new Windows. So I had to move to Sunrise, which is the US version of MS Money, and I skipped the details on how this was done to come from a German-speaking MS Money to a US-speaking Sunrise. One of the real attractive challenges was that the OS version did accept only ASCII formats, no UTF, no special characters that you have in German. So it was quite a trouble. Anyhow, this proceeded, and the side effect of the CSV download was that you didn't get your account balance by the CSV. You had to enter it into your information system by hand, which is of course not really funny, but you have no chance. CSV is not built for that type of business. So I found myself with having, beside of the balance, to run the import, to run the transformation for both of the banks, and of course the downloads and the feeding. Nothing has changed. So I decided to do something for myself and make life a little bit easier, and package all the processing that is in the middle, that is always the same, as far as possible into an interoperability production. Well, and so out of this, all this, the target was to have 2 downloads, 2 feeds, as in the beginning. Well, and two times to enter the balance to be up to date, which is not an urgent need for MS Money, but it's a kind of comfort. So, and well, this is the interoperability production as it looks like. You have input service looking for the files that are downloaded, checking what type of file this is, transform these files into tables, check what type of file it is, and then create the special feeder for MS Money. You may ask, hey, why do you need 2 feeders? This is necessary in MS Money if you have separated accounts and not just put it one. You have to put in things like your account numbers, your bank numbers, and to keep these two parts aside from each other. Well, the business process as such is rather simple. Once the table is loaded, it triggers either output for one bank or for the other bank, or forgets the whole thing. Well, and this is the task that is now done. Of course, entering the account balance. And this is what I like to show you now with my small demo production that you have probably downloaded already. If not, you will see how this is going on. Now we start by downloading the sample from the repo. So this is the repository. I copied the download code. I open my command line. GitHub is my main directory for all downloads. So the download is done. We change to the new created directory. Yeah, this looks good. And well, next step is to build our container. So let's see, docker command up -d -build. And you see it is building as expected. Does all the installation. And should now activate our image. Okay, the image should now be up. To verify that it is up, I open the system management portal. Oops. Management portal. Here we go. It's the usual username system. I log in. I see namespace user is prepared for interoperability. And if I list my productions, you see here is a production. Now, we couldn't start the production now, but we still miss one step. This is entering the balances for the two banks that I have described. But before we start, I show you here in the operations the special setting related to the bank. We find it under additional settings, and you see I've created an adapter that holds the bank ID and the account ID, which is of course not my bank since it's for demo. And the same applies to the second bank, BW, with an account. We will find this later, this information later, as part of the generated OFX files. So, and as a next, we go to the command line. I keep this a little bit apart so we can see the changes. I'll make this a little bit smaller so this is more comfortable. Yeah. Okay. Start my IRIS session. User to class rcc.money, and the method is init. And now I enter my actual balance that I have taken notes before. 777. You see, I've used here my German keyboard with the, instead of the point for the comma, the real comma. This is just a piece of comfort. It is converted and checked just after entering the value. We have a other value. No, that's too optimistic. And this is the important point. I said, okay, yes, start my production. And the production runs away. So if I just jump up here to my browser, it doesn't know about that it was started. But if I refresh, you see the production is up. So in fact, you do not need the browser interface. You can all do from the command line. So something else that you also could do from the command line, but as I'm lazy, I'm using the Windows browser. I've read the downloads directory where the clone is homed. I have the directory money. This is the directory that is mapped to the Docker container and that is used as input to the production, output to the production. I've saved here the expected results to show it. Once it is processed, it's done. Here you find sometimes this GitHub.text. That's a minor trick since GitHub doesn't expect just pure directory definitions. You have to have a file in there. Well, okay, that's GitHub. It's not so. And to run I have prepared two samples. I select them both, copy it, move to the input directory and paste it. So, and now watch a little bit. You suddenly see it's gone. So, my process, my production has taken the input, processed it using the in-file adapter, and after processing, it's moved to directory done with a timestamp. So this part is gone. Instead of continuing here, I go back to my command line. Here you see the text select file. This is a scanning loop that checks the output directory for the expected result, which is in the beginning, after the starting, of course, empty. So if I hit enter, it should come on. Yeah. Well, I probably should have a fresh keyboard. So I see one file. This is the generated OFX file with the appropriate timestamp. And I select this file. Okay, let's make it larger. Otherwise you won't see anything. So hit the one. And what's here is the generated OFX format. You see, it starts at the beginning a little bit like HTTP, then it changes to something that could have been XML, but not really. So you have a few open tags blocking the information here, but also just tags, not closing, not nothing. Well, okay, this was invented some time in the 90s. Today we would probably use for the same purpose JSON or something else. So that's the way. Okay, we continue to scan since we know there is a second file. It's the BW, and oh, what a surprise! It looks again like a OFX file. Okay, and this is the format that is required to feed MS Money. As this is all running inside the container, the link that I have to immediately feed MS Money is depending on your Windows installation. And this works also if it's not a Windows. It just works everywhere where IRIS is running. So this part is something you have to add, or you do it manually. It's no problem. As we have seen here, the directory, I could go to the output folder, and here we have the same file that I added with Notepad. Well, and that's the stuff. But now you are already outside the container. I think this is the important point. You use the image in the container just as a converter tool, nothing else. You give an input, you start it, it's processing, and you get an output, and there is no need to touch the inside of the container. I have it just open to show you what's going on inside. And to continue on this issue, what's inside, okay, I close this since this is boring. So now inside you have your normal production. You can see, have your log file with all the info that you want to see. Probably the messages are more attractive. I go to the messages to see the full trace. Oh, okay, I have to select all. Yeah. To see the full trace, and you see you can get a message in, get the out message, get the reply. Well, and it's done. There's nothing special behind that. And if we look to the content, okay, this one has no content. This one sends over the balance that was taken from the input side. Well, it's a small example, but it's probably something that gives you an idea that also small things can be done using IRIS Interoperability. Okay, and well, as we are done, we can stop the container and we don't need it. Either you just switch it off, or you do it the clean way. The clean way would be, no, I do not continue. I stop it. Oops, where is the command? And we have a utility stop. And we stop our production. And the thing is gone. And I close it. And well, now it's depending. If I use it again, I'm done. In my case, I will probably remove the container and the installation, the image, for some effects. Okay, I hope it was interesting to you. Okay, now as you have seen my presentation and seen how my solution works. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I hope you will vote for me on the interoperability contest in the community. And well, it's not a big thing, you may say, but it's a good start and a good example how to approach small things. Thank you for watching and enjoy.